Welcome, my brothers and sisters, my sons and daughters, to the real world with Elder George. I'm Elder George. I'm your elder, not your religious elder, as you know by now, but a societal elder. I'm in my 90s. I think that qualifies me to be your elder and perhaps, give you some words of judgment. Right? Now, it takes spiritual awareness, gender understanding, and family focus in order to have a happy, healthy, and harmonious human environment. I ended my last video by saying that the family must be rebuilt. That's how we're going to change this environment. We're either going to rebuild the family, or the family's going to, or society will continue to disintegrate. Now, it's easy to say the family needs to be rebuilt, but it's not so easy to do because there are so many forces working against it. The government is one of them. If there's any force breaking down the American family, it's the government. So we have to work outside of the government and outside of existing structures. There was a time amongst Native Americans, or maybe still occurs, that when a girl reached the age of maturation, a little hut was built alongside the family wigwam, and the medicine man would come and visit her daily to explain to her the responsibilities of bringing a child into this world and nurturing it. That was the prime focus of her life. Today, pressure is put on girls to go to college, to learn a profession, to get involved in sports. By the way, I'm going to make a separate video for you on women in sports and show the negative effect it's had on their lives. But in any event, sports is just one of the vehicles used to get young women away from the responsibilities of motherhood and family. And talking to you about this now makes me reflect, causes me to reflect upon a young Hispanic woman that I met in my neighborhood about a year ago. She was at the playground, and her baby was a few months old in the carriage. And she said to me, my girlfriends are putting pressure on me to get a job, to go to work, to not stay home and raise my baby. And she had tears in her eyes. And she said, I love my baby. I said, of course you love your baby. You stay home and take care of your baby. I said, don't be defensive. Tell him, I'm not an ass peddler. Tell him I'm a nurturer. Let's form an organization, Las Cuidadoras. And by the way, ladies, make sure you're married to a hombre, not a burro, to a man, not a donkey. Real men provide the environment that allow women to nurture the race. Also, boys are not being raised to be boys anymore. They're being raised with the girls, to think like the girls. So if we raise boys to be like girls, how can boys grow up and provide the environment that women need to nurture the race? You see how everything is working against it. Another thing working against us is the poor health of society, which you've heard me mention many times. Children don't know what good home cooking is anymore. They don't know what good nutrition is anymore. They exist on junk food, and we depend upon vaccines to keep our children healthy instead of the good food and nurturing love of mothers. There we have it. Girls raised to peddle their assets, boys not being raised to fulfill the function of manhood, children not being raised healthy. Where do we go from there? How do we build families from that? First, we get together with like-minded men, and we form an organization which exists. It's called Men's Action, Inc. And in that organization, we train men for their responsibilities to women and children and the elders. Please go to my website, mensaction.net, and under the About Us tab, you will find an essay index. Please go to the letter A and you will find an essay titled A Sense of Purpose. I think you will find that essay to give you excellent background for the little talk that we just had. I thank you for joining us, and let's remember, working together, we will survive. Dear viewer, an important part of my message is an explanation of gender, the principle of gender, and it is elaborated on in my two books, A Gender Handbook for Western Man and Dear Brothers and Sisters, Gender and Its Responsibility. The first book, Dear Brothers and Sisters, Gender and Its Responsibility, discusses the many facets of gender and points out that it is a universal principle. The second book, A Gender Handbook for Western Man, is not really a handbook, but I explained gender in more technical terms, which I thought would be better appreciated by the Western mind. Both of these books are readily available from Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. I recommend that you get a copy of each and familiarize yourself with the principle of gender, which is being ignored in society today, and we are paying a price. Thank you.